Viewers, welcome again to this YouTube lesson. Today I'm going to talk about depreciation of assets. Depreciation of assets. Depreciation of assets. So depreciation is actually the reduction in value of an asset due to usage and passage of time. The reduction in value of assets due to usage and passage of time. This reduction in value of an asset due to usage and passage of time. This is a definition of depreciation. So we may find that our assets, when we're using them, they always reduce in value. They lose value over time. And also because we're using them. When you're using an asset, it might not remain the same as it was bought. So over time, when you're using it, it wears off. And also its value reduces. Maybe because of some new assets coming in the market, we talk about obsolescence, or because of inability for it to serve as it used to serve in the start. And also it wear and tear because of the usage. The parts wear off when they come into contact. And that's what we talk about as the reduction in value of an asset. So we bought an asset at, let's say, at 10,000 pounds. And then after a year, the asset will not remain 10,000. It may remain to actually 8,000 pounds. Because of now, that difference there will be now of 2,000, which you are talking of now here as the depreciation, or the reduction in value of that asset because of the usage and passage of time. Now we shall be seeing some of the causes of depreciation, and you find that I'll be talking about those various methods or what causes the reduction in value of the asset. But most of the assets that depreciate, the assets that actually we're talking of here depreciating, we can have actually as buildings, machinery, motor vehicle, furniture. You have even mines, which you have been seeing, we talk of it as now depleting. You have also equipment. So this furniture, and also we have what as fittings. Furniture and fittings. So we have equipment and many more others that actually shall be coming to look at. So these assets that are the ones which reduce in value when you use them. A building will always reduce in value if you've been using actually over time, and also whenever it stays for longer. Machinery, when they get into contact with each other, the parts they wear off. Also motor vehicle, as they're being used. They also have furniture and all those. So you have even the tractors. You have tractors. You have even the earth moving machines. Earth moving machines. Like cranes. The cranes actually they fall under that one. So that's what type of the assets that actually will be reducing in value mostly over time. Now, what causes the depreciation? What causes actual assets to depreciate? We've said here one of them causes of depreciation. The causes of depreciation. We have one actually is the time factor. One is the time factor, meaning as time passes, an asset will not remain the same. So after a year or after several months or several weeks, the asset to actually value will always go down. It won't remain as it was in the start. We also have what we call as wear and tear. That's now when the assets actually come into contact, and also corrosion and more other agents of nature always actually cause the asset to wear off. The other thing is actually talk of as now as obsolescence. Obsolescence, meaning an asset becomes obsolete, a new asset comes into the market, and now it makes the one which is there no longer to be able to the best services that the other one was offering. So there are new inventions which come. So whenever a new invention comes, then people will move to the one which actually has the latest technology, and eventually they'll abandon the one which has lesser, and then eventually now its value will always actually reduce. Its value will always reduce. And then inadequacy also. Meaning an asset becomes actually inadequate. It cannot be able to serve what it was selling. Now a business was actually selling maybe 10,000 items, but now they are going to sell actually maybe 50,000 items. So transporting the 50 items, you cannot use the same machine or same motor vehicle or lorry to transport. So we shall look for a bigger one. So meaning this one has become inadequate, so it cannot be able to provide the service that we need now. Within the company has grown, or the sales have grown, or the customers that we need actually have increased. So we're needing an asset which can be able to now reach more people, and through that now we require an additional or a bigger asset or motor vehicle than the ones which you've been using. So those are some of the causes. Those are the causes of actually depreciation. Why our asset always depreciate. The other one is always we say is actually depletion. Depletion. Now depletion is now when we're talking of mines. Mines. Whenever we have a mine in a place, then when we exhausting, or we are actually not exhausting, but when we are exploiting that resource, when we dig and exploit the mines which are in that place, we estimate that maybe there are maybe 10 million tons of some mines in a place. If we exploit 5 million, then we shall not remain with 10 million still. So that reduction of 5 million, the reduction of 5 million from the 10 million is recognized as the depletion. So meaning is they getting depleted, exhausted as actually the exercise goes on. Mining in a place, the minerals actually reduce because it covers depletion. So it's also actually an agent of actually depreciation. It causes our asset to reduce in value, because we said the essence is that the reduction in value of an asset. So a time factor will always cause an asset to reduce in value. An asset bought this year cannot be the same value next year. Then the wear and tear, that the parts of the vehicle always, or the machine will always wear off and need to be replaced. They can never be the same as when the asset came new. So it will cause its value to go down. Obsolescence, meaning new inventions coming in the market, they make the one which has been there to be obsolete, not to be in the same level or have the same demand as the one which is new in the market, so its value will go down. Inadequacy is when now an asset which over time or increased productivity or a company growing will not be able to meet the needs of the new company or the level of the company now, which has actually more sales, and then depletion on top of now where minerals are being exploited and then actually value the same. So we shall be looking at actually how this one, I talked about the mines which are going to depletion, and all the others actually getting now to any of those that we talked about there. Now, I want to go and look at now the methods of depreciation. Methods of depreciation. Method of depreciation. How do you calculate depreciation? That's what it means there. How do you calculate this depreciation, the reduction in value of an asset? We're saying a value is reducing from one year to another year, the value has reduced. Then how do we arrive at the value that it has reduced? Because we cannot just estimate, or we can just not imagine. So we have various methods there. So I'll be talking about three major ones. Three major methods that we use. And the first one is actually we talk about straight line. Straight line method of calculating depreciation. So then the second one you have actually as a reducing balance. Or diminishing. Diminishing balance. And then the third one, major ones actually have the revaluation. Revaluation method. So these are the major three methods that we shall be using to calculate the depreciation of the assets. Now, when I start with the first one, straight line. straight line is where we always say we charge a fixed amount of value as the amount that the asset will be reducing every year. We have a fixed amount of depreciation, year in, year out. Meaning the asset reduces by the same amount over its useful life. So the asset, like for example, if we depreciate the asset at 10,000, then every year the depreciation will be 10,000 until the asset will be fully depreciated, or now will have no value, or will have reached what we call as the scrap value. So that's what we call as the straight line or fixed balance or fixed balance method there. Now, it's normally calculated on the original cost value. Calculated on the original cost value. The original cost value. Of the asset. The original cost value of the asset. So we shall be seeing that we shall convert it by actually getting the original cost value, and then we estimate the scrap value, and then the difference between the two give us the value we shall be having as the depreciable value. We shall calculate the depreciable value of the asset over its useful life. Over its useful life. So the depreciable value, we can say like if we bought an asset at £100,000, and then we estimate that the asset will be in the business for maybe 10 years and have a scrap value of 1,000. Meaning, so we have to estimate the number of years that the asset will be in the business, and then estimate the scrap value. SV is the scrap value. So we shall say 10,000, 100,000 minus 1,000. So the depreciable value would be actually 90 what? 99,000. Let me say this is 10,000. So it will be 90,000. So the scrap value of the asset will be 10,000 after 10 years. So meaning for the 10 years, the asset will be depreciated for a total value of 90,000. So the depreciable value, the value that the asset will be depreciated over the 10 years, will be actually 90,000. So what you do, you take the 90,000 to get now the depreciation per year, which will be constant. So it will be 90,000, then by 10 years. So that will give us actually 9,000 as the depreciation per year. That will be the depreciation per year. So our depreciation per year, equal amount will be 9,000 every year for the 10 years that the asset will be used in the business. Now that's actually talk about the straight line method there. The straight line method, where we actually depreciate the asset with an equal amount every year, or a fixed amount every year over the useful life of the asset. So the useful life of the asset will be now the value which the asset will be depreciated. It will be losing. So it will be losing 90,000 over the 10 years. So that's the depreciable value of the asset, which is gotten by taking now the original cost value minus the estimated scrap value, meaning the value that remains. An asset can never go to zero. So to actually have a 10,000 over the 10 estimated number of years that you can use the asset for 10 years. Then we take this minus 10 will give us the depreciable value, which is divided by the number of years to get the depreciation per year. That's actually the straight line method there. Now the other method is actually talk of now as the reducing balance. Reducing balance. The second method is actually talk of as the reducing balance. Reducing balance method of calculating depreciation. Now this one is where we say we shall have a certain value of the asset, a different value every year. So that the value will always be reducing year after year. So the rate is calculated basing on now the net value. So calculated basing on net book value. Now the net book value is the value after, the difference between the cost value and the market value of an asset will give us actually the net book value, meaning not the net book value but the depreciation. The cost value minus the depreciation will give us the net book value. So we shall be taking the original cost value of an asset. For example, you can say the asset is worth 100,000. Then we calculate that in the first year maybe it's actually 9,000. Then the net book value will be how much? 9 minus that will be 90, that is 91. Then 91,000. So it will be 91,000. So 91,000 is what we recognize as the net book value. So in the second year, that's the first year. In the second year, actually we shall have now the 91,000, which is the net book value. Then we minus the depreciation. And for example, it might be something different, like maybe 8,000. Then the net book value will be different. In this case, it will be actually 83,000. 83,000. Now we shall have a rate which we shall be applying on this. So we have a certain rate. We use a rate to calculate the depreciation per year. And it's based actually on now the reduced balance. You can see here we are calculating on the net book value. So you can say, like, if the rate, for example, is 20%, then you should be taking 20% of the original cost value, which in the first year of 100,000. That will be given actually as 2,000. 20,000. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. 20,000 will be the depreciation for the first year. Now the second year. The second year it will be now the 100,000 or 20,000, 20% times 100,000 minus 20,000. So that you get the net book value here. So it will be 20% of 80,000. It give us actually 16,000. Now in the third year, we shall take again 20% of the 80,000, which is the net book value here, minus now 16,000. To get actually the value there. So it will be 20% of that is 4, 7 minus that is 64,000. So that will be now the depreciation for that particular year, which will be now at this 8, 12 here, and 28,000 or 12,800. So 12,800 will be depreciation for that year. So the first year the depreciation was 20,000. The second year the depreciation was 16. The third year depreciation actually came to 12,800. So you can see the depreciation keeps reducing. That's what you refer to as reducing balance. So it's calculated on the reduced balance. Originally we calculated the 100,000. We got 20,000. The next year we minus the depreciation for the first year from the 100 we got 80. So you calculated the 80 which has reduced now. The third year again we minus the 16, it comes to 64. So the depreciation is calculated on this reduced balance here. The reduced balance. So this was the original, come to this and this. So that's how actually we do the reducing balance method there. So that is calculated actually on the reduced balance of the asset there. So this one we shall always calculate the rate. So I'll be looking at how to calculate the 20%. We normally don't just pick on any figure. So we shall always have a formula which you use to calculate the rate that should be applying on the original the cost value and the reduced balance as it continues on and on. So that's now the reducing balance. The third one is the simplest, which we talk about as the revaluation method. The revaluation method. Now, the revaluation method involves now value-wise, meaning at the end of the period, let's say, so we say we revalue the asset every year, every end of the year. We revalue the asset at every end of the year, and then we compare now with the original or the value at the start of the year. Then compare with the value at start of the year. So the difference is the depreciation. The difference is the depreciation. So if we bought the asset at 100,000, so using the 100,000, and then we go on to the valuers, we look at the market of the same value, we find actually it's maybe 89,000. Then the difference between the two will give us the depreciation for the first year. So that will be actually 1,000. Remaining 9 minus that is actually 1. So it will be 11,000. So that will be the depreciation for the first year. In the second year, again, we value the asset. So at the start of the year, it will be 89,000. The start of the second year, that's at the end of the first year, is the same as the value at the start of the second year. So if it was 89,000, we find actually at the end of the year, it has come to maybe 82,000. Then the difference between the two, which will be the depreciation here, will be 7,000. And this one is, the depreciation that year will be 7,000. So we continue like so. The third year, we go again, value again the asset. So the depreciation will be dependent on now the market value of that asset at the end of every year. And that's how we calculate the depreciation using the revaluation method. So I'll be looking at how to calculate the rates. Also here, even the straight line method, you always calculate the rate. But also here, the rates that you can calculate, I'll be looking at it in my next lesson. Thanks.